Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Morgan and bid you all welcome back to Gothic 2. Things are going to be a little bit different today. Don't know if it's even going to be noticeable, but I have decided, in the wake of last episode, to switch up and try and use OBS for recording video, which I've never really done before. It used to be a real pain in the ass to set it up, and it never really seemed to work out for me. OBS Studio seems to have streamlined things quite a bit and made it more functional, but in my test recordings earlier I did have some issues with a couple frame skips and weird stuff like that. I'm not sure the quality is going to be as good, but it's kind of going to be up to the final result to really tell after the Sony Movie Studio compression and ultimately the YouTube compression when I upload. Will there even be a noticeable difference? I have no idea. Time will tell. First thing I wanted to get into is a comment from, I believe it was Dark Angel on the last video, who pointed out that I never talked to a gentleman named Gustaf, who is camping quite far away from the castle in the Valley of Mines. He's actually somebody you probably won't even notice in in Chapter 2, because he's very difficult to get to if you don't really have a plan to get there. You have to go essentially on the road that you would take to get to the swamp camp in the first game, or more accurately to the stone fortress up in the mountains, where you meet Lester in the first game. On your way up there, you'll find a little nook where Gustaf is hiding. The easiest way to get up there is to use a transformation scroll, something that the orcs won't attack, and just hightail it over there. I actually recommend the Field Raider transformation spell. I feel like the Field Raider moves a little bit faster than anything else, so it's probably the easiest way to get up there. Maybe the wolf moves faster, I'm not really sure. Regardless, something cheap, something that the orcs won't attack, gets you there, no problem. Just make sure you transform back before Gustaf spots you. And he is wearing the Mindcrawler armor that we actually got in the first game, made by Wolf, the mercenary. And talking to Gustaf, he actually reminds us about how we acquired the armor in the first game. And so that opens up the possibility to talk to Wolf. The reason I forgot about it is I almost never do it. If you are playing as a militia or mercenary soldier, you actually have access to better armor before you even go to the valley. So it's a little bit silly. For a mage, I suppose it's a little bit more worthwhile because we don't get the high fire robe for quite some time. And so we're stuck with the standard fire robe or the Ring of Water armor. And the Mindcrawler armor exceeds those by a fair bit. But I still don't find it worth it, because you have to learn how to take crawler plates. And since we already wiped out every source of mine crawlers that's conveniently available, that means we're just not really going to find the opportunity to get it. I had originally excused it, saying that I did not want to spend the learning points on it, but given that we have 33 learning points and it costs 3 to learn how to take the crawler plates, that actually kind of evens out our learning point allocation. So it actually would have worked out fine, but like I said, we have no mine crawlers conveniently available. Not really interested. I don't find the armor to be necessary. But Dark Angel's right. If you are watching this for a walkthrough, it's only prudent that I tell you how you can get a pretty decent set of armor by going that route. So once you talk to Gustaf in the Valley of Mines, you need to make a trip back to Ono's farm and talk to Wolf. And he'll tell you that he can produce the armor in exchange for some crawler plates. Now, we just got back from the valley. We have the report from Commander Gerbrand that is due to Lord Hagen. You can take a look at it. It's not actually sealed, even though it shows up as a rolled up scroll. The expedition in the Valley of Mines has failed. We have suffered many losses. The survivors are trapped in the castle surrounded by orcs. We have been attacked by dragons many times. Really only once. They have devastated the lands around the castle. With Innos' help, we shall prevail until reinforcements arrive. A sortie is impossible. Well, it doesn't sound like he really attempted one, but... can't trust a coward. Regardless, we have what we need, but shit has hit the fan. There are some dark-robed mages roaming the lands, and a lot of dangerous beasts have seemed to have moved in, so let's figure out what the hell's going on from Xardas here.
Hey, you!
Hey, you. So this option here never really goes away until we deal with the add-on world, so...
I'm back from the Valley of Mines.
High time, too. What did you see?
You were right. The land's been overrun by an entire army of the enemy. Orcs are besieging the castle, and dragons have laid whole areas to waste. It won't be long before they attack Khorinis, if I'm not mistaken. Lester said you wanted to see me at once. What the hell has happened here in the meantime?
The enemy has learned who you really are, and that you're planning to get hold of the Eye of Innos. He has recognized the threat. It has forced him to leave his cover and openly attack. The game of hide and seek is over. Yesterday, nobody knew what the enemy's attack would look like. Now it has become only too obvious.
Indeed.
I finally got the proof that Lord Hagen demanded of me.
What proof is that?
I received a letter from Gerbrand, the commander of the Paladins in the Valley of Mines. In it, he asks for reinforcements.
That should be enough to convince that militant warhorse. Well done.
I was attacked by magicians in black robes.
The enemy has many faces. The Seekers are one of them. They're really the ones who prepare the ground for the enemy. They have taken up their positions in strategic places and are now only waiting for an opportunity to spring the trap. Stay out of their way. They are very powerful magical beings, and they will try to deter you at any cost.
Indeed.
What will be the next step now?
Go and bring Lord Hagen the letter from Gerbrand, so that he may grant you access to the Eye of Innos. Then go to the monastery and talk to Pyrokar. He must give you the eye. Nothing is more important than getting this artifact away to safety. Go now before it's too late. The enemy will also try to lay his hands on it.
I don't really see how keeping it with me is the safest place. You would think that the walls of the monastery would be a bit more secure than in the pockets of some roaming vagabond. But, as we shall see, not exactly the case. Let us rest until the morn, so we're not wandering around in these newly dangerous wilderness at night. I'm gonna do a runner back to the city. Unfortunately, we do not have a teleporter stone to get us back there just yet. So this is where things really get interesting in this game. It really only been recently that I finally kind of shaken off the trepidation that I have running around out here in Chapter 3. Because I've always just had a massive fear of the dangerous enemies that show up, plus the Seekers who tend to sneak up on you, as we'll see as time goes on. But you'll see, this is actually why I advised making sure that that bandit stayed alive. He was the one outside of Brago's cave. Why I advised making sure he stays alive. So don't send him up towards that camp until after Cavalor has moved on, because he provides a nice cover, a nice snack for those two wargs. We're a little dangerous for us to take on our own, and they're kind of tricky to sneak around. You might have been tempted to try and sneak around behind the cave and work your way around there. There's actually a seeker squatting back there. So he would have given you trouble as well. Although the trick with seekers, I almost called him a sneaker again. The trick with seekers is that they kind of have two different personality types. There's a type that will attack you on sight, and there's a type that will try to engage you in conversation first. The second type are much easier to avoid, because they are only dangerous when you get within dialogue range. So as long as you stay more than like 6 paces away, you don't even have to worry about them. They don't approach you, they don't really do anything until they can talk to you. So just stay away, and you'll be fine. Ah, might as well grab this while we're here. This wasn't here before, it only spawns in now. It's part of a quest that we'll get in the monastery later. Well, let's see how old Lobarto is holding up.
Any new developments in the last few days?
Just go down the path to the city. If you run into a fellow with a black robe, then you'll know what's new.
Oh, we've already met him.
Have the Black Robes come to see you yet?
Yeah, they've been here for a few days. If you ask me, they come straight from hell.
I would believe it.
How are your sheep?
As if that would interest you at all. You have other problems.
My problems? What would you know about that?
You noble lords from the monastery should do something about these hooded fellows.
Hey, watch your mouth, buddy.
All you can do is talk big. The best thing would be if you went away.
What sacrilege.
Well, don't get all worked up.
Beat it.
Oh, beat yourself. Well, things are not going well here. Everyone's really on edge. Lobart's not lording over the court as he was before. What's he doing standing all the way over here? Ooh. There are seekers abound up at the stone circle up there.
Hey, you!
So we can still ask him for the work clothes, which is hilarious, but once we get through all this dialogue here, that option goes away.
How's your farm?
I can't stand it anymore. All of a sudden, these fellows in black hoods showed up and posted themselves on the road, and on my farm. Spent a long time talking to Vino, and then they disappeared with him. Short time later, my wife took deathly ill again. She spends most of the time just lying in bed. And that happens to her frequently. I'm falling apart here.
Have you talked to the men in black?
Sure. There was no way to prevent it. I think they're looking for someone.
Why don't you do anything about those Black Robes?
Well, I'd surely love to, but I saw how they burned one of the townspeople alive. Just like that. Why should I risk my life?
Yeah, a bunch of cowards.
Why don't you take your wife to the healer?
We ought to go to the city to see Vatras about it. But I won't budge an inch from my farm as long as things are so chaotic here.
Huh, so your concern for your farm is more overrides your concern for your wife's well-being.
What was their business with Vino?
They didn't say. They just took him with them.
Where did they drag Vino off to?
They went up that hill with him.
So they got old Vino up there. Wonder what the hell they're planning with that old wine sot. So we see there's 3 seekers up there. There's actually a 4th one standing near to Vino himself. The trouble with this is that not only... So you can see the 4th one up there. He's actually hiding. He's a dangerous one because he... The trouble with this is that obviously one seeker was a force to be reckoned with when we first encountered them. Trying to take on 3 of them is an ordeal, and once we aggro those 3, I believe that 4th seeker actually targets Vino and tries to kill him. So getting rid of them is going to involve some serious firepower, and we're going to put that off for later. Let's check in on old Hilda. She doesn't seem to be doing too hot.
Aren't you feeling well?
No, not at all. I've got this awful fever again.
It's melting your face.
I should really go and see the town healer, but I'm too weak for that.
Can I help?
It would be wonderful if you could go to Vatras and get me my medicine. He'll know what is to be done. I can't do it anymore.
Well, I'll take care of that. So, another trick here. The biggest threat that the Seekers pose is the fact that their black robes actually camouflage them pretty well out in the woods. Given how dark and shadowy everything is, you might not notice that one standing over there unless you see the red hem of his robes. Or that one standing there, both of them flanking the road, and that 3rd one patrolling the road. I don't really remember where he ends up. None of them approach the city too close, but I don't believe that the guards of the city will really do anything about them. They're actually too afraid. The Seekers themselves, I don't think necessarily attack NPCs. You don't really have to worry about that. Okay, so he goes off into the woods that way. But yeah, nobody's really keen to engage them. So you're kind of on your own if you get stuck in with those guys.
Good thing you're here. You need to help me.
Diego.
What is this about?
A lot of things have changed since I left here. I have to get back on my feet somehow.
What's the problem?
I have to get into the upper quarter, but I'm not a citizen of the town, and I don't have enough money to bribe the guards. That's where you come in.
So you want me to lend you some gold?
Nonsense. I've got some gold. A whole lot of gold, even. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. You need to go fetch my gold for me.
Oh, can't fetch it yourself.
What's in it for me?
Have I ever asked you what you could give me in return? We're friends, shouldn't that be enough?
To be fair, you did help me out getting the focus stone back in the day. You seem to be the only one that didn't really have an ulterior motive for being there.
Okay, I'll help you.
Well, listen. Back when the barrier was still in place, I hid a small treasure. It's been quite a while. That's why I forgot to take it with me. And I can't leave here at all at the moment. To cut a long story short, you must go to the Valley of Mines for me and fetch my gold.
What? We just barely escaped there with our lives.
Where's the gold hidden?
Directly at the trading square, above the abandoned mine. It's in a leather satchel. Spare yourself that comment. I know myself that we must have walked right past it. Just bring me the bag. But don't forget to check that it's the right one, so you don't walk all that way for nothing.
How can I recognize it?
It's full of gold. A whole lot of gold.
Well, if I find any old bag full of gold, what's the matter that it's yours or not?
Where did you get all that gold?
Am I the only one, then, who put some gold aside for himself in the Valley of Mines? Filching a few nuggets was a piece of cake, just in case we ever got out of there. Everybody was so keen on that ore that no one even cared for gold at the time.
What are you planning to do with the gold?
I still have an account to settle with one of the merchants in the upper quarter. I need to take care of that. And then I'll be all set for a new career.
Oh, well, look at you, a very, enterprising businessman.
I'll try to find your gold.
Just do it. That's enough for me.
So luckily, we had the foresight to acquire it ahead of time. There's a trick with this gold. If you have the bag, you can just give him the bag and complete the quest. If you open the bag, we find 2,000 gold inside. If you talk to him, he takes the 2,000 gold. If you don't have either of those things in your inventory, the option to give it to him doesn't even come up unless we open the bag, collect the gold, and put it down somewhere. And this gives us a trick. Oops, not load. I don't actually want to use this exploit because people are gonna give me shit for it. But just want to demonstrate it. If you have opened the bag, had the gold in your inventory, but put it down, you can still complete the quest.
I found your gold.
Great. Show me. Very good. Gerbrand had better watch out now.
Gerbrand!
I still need to take care of the guards. I want you to take this letter to Gerbrand. He is one of the fat merchants in the upper quarter. Give him my regards. I'll meet you in front of Gerbrand's house then.
Interesting. So like I said, we're not actually going to use that exploit. I shall do it honestly. Retrieve. So, another trick with Diego. In the event that you struggle to get him here alive out of the valley, there is actually a failsafe because he is an essential NPC. But they wanted to
Hey,
raise the stakes
you look
for
completely
that quest to get him out of there.
flabbergasted.
Like I said, that quest did not exist
thought
in
I
the
had bought it,
vanilla
didn't
game.
you?
It was only part of the
I was
add-on.
unconscious for
And there's a
quite some
failsafe
time,
to make
but
sure
as
that
you
if
can
he
see,
does die
I'm
there,
still
he
alive.
still makes it
The
here so
most
he can
important
participate in the
thing
later
is
quests
that
of the
we're
game.
both here now.
And he actually has a
You've got to
unique
help me.
unique dialogue when you encounter him here
What is
in
this
that case.
about? I've got no time for that.
Hey, I thought we were buddies. It was me, after all, who saved your butt back when they tossed you into the colony.
You're exaggerating.
Am I really? Then think for a minute about what would have happened if I hadn't explained to you back then how to behave. The Ore Barons would have had you for breakfast, and you would have died miserably down in the mine.
Okay, I'll help you after all.
I knew it!
Okay, let's get straight down to business.
All right. I have hidden a treasure in the Valley of Mines, and you were to go and get it for me. I'll stay here in the meantime and prepare everything.
Where's the gold hidden?
Directly at the...
But he has given us a letter to deliver to Gerbrand. Gerbrand, you know you should have killed me. I'm back in town and looking for you. When I find you, I'm gonna slice you like a pudding. You've known me long enough to be sure I won't be fooled lightly. I guess when you had me thrown in the barrier, you never dreamed I might come back. Well, you were wrong. I've come for what's owed to me. Your only chance to stay alive is to beat it fast and leave your business to me. That'd make us quits. Oh, damn. Diego. What kind of cutthroat business were you involved in?
Diego says hello.
What? Who? What Diego?
And he wants me to give you this letter.
That can't be. No. I'm a goner. Is he in town then?
Who?
Diego, of course.
Yes, I'm gonna meet him here shortly.
Oh, this is the end then. All is lost. I've got no time. I need to get out of here. Quick! If he finds me here, I'm done for.
Oh, you better believe it. Better make sure that you don't brush shoulders with him on your way out of here. In fact, you might want to find a different way out of here. Or not. Literally bump chests with the guy. The guy who wants to cut your throat. Oh well, what a silly game. So, this whole deal with Gerbrand, well, Diego kind of clarified a little bit. None of it was mentioned in the first game, just because Diego didn't really have much of a backstory to tell. But it's really annoying that one of many things that are outrageously annoying about the upcoming Gothic remake is the way Diego references Gerbrand in one of the first conversations you have with him to really kind of shove the reference in your face. Whereas I always kind of like the fact that we learn Diego's backstory as our, relationship with him develops, instead of just having it all kind of shoved in our face up front.
I delivered the letter.
Very good. How did Gerbrand take it?
He was rather shocked and made himself scarce right away.
I should think so. I'm afraid that, first of all, I need to attend to furnishing my new house. If I remember correctly, Gerbrand's taste is horrible.
The house is yours then?
Yes, from cellar to attic, with all the furnishings. Having spent several years in less than befitting quarters, I'm looking forward to sleeping in a soft four-poster bed. And then, for breakfast, I'll have a fine wine and some excellent ham.
Excellent.
You don't miss any chances, do you?
You betcha.
So how did you pull this off?
Did you think that Gerbrand came by his fortune through honest business? Of course, he never got his fingers dirty when it came to really shady deals. He had a helper for that. Of course, I caught on to a lot back then. Gerbrand finally got rid of me. He was probably afraid that I knew too much.
You never told me about that.
You never asked me.
Yeah, fair enough.
What about Gerbrand?
He has enjoyed the good life for far too long. He was living here in the lap of luxury while I was forcing down meat bug stew. I have no idea where he went from here, but he'll never get a foothold in Khorinis again. I'll see to that. If you're looking for him, you should try the Harbor District.
We can find him there, but he doesn't really give us anything.
What about my share?
Looks like you haven't forgotten everything I've taught you after all. But you're right. I couldn't have done it without you. Here's your share.
I'm curious what kind of business you're going to start up on the apparent ruins of whatever illicit deals Gerbrand had going on. I'm also curious, how exactly do you convince the governor and everybody here to transfer ownership of this house to you? I know that bookkeeping and, you know, what do you call it, land ownership and stuff probably wasn't as official and structured and all that stuff as it is today, but I don't think you really get squatters' rights just because the old homeowner took a walk for the day. Well, what do I know? Fernando, we've got something for you. Very important when you talk to Fernando that you do this in the right order. This is the last option you want to use. This might seem very innocuous, but there is a very important reason for that. Do not click this option until you've done everything else. Now, before we talk to him about the bandits, there's him selling weapons to the bandits. There's a reason we've been putting that off. Because he gives us a quest to figure out how the ore situation is going on. And if we accuse him and deal with him first, he won't give us a reward. So make sure you do this one first.
I've been to the Valley of Mines.
And? How's the situation there?
The mines are all depleted. There's barely more than a few chests full of ore. It's hardly worth digging for that.
That can't be true. That means I'm ruined.
What about our deal?
Now, about your reward. Here, take this rune stone.
Very simple. Surprised he didn't try to pull one over on us just on the knowledge that his fortunes are out the window.
You've been selling weapons to the bandits.
But what makes you think that?
This list of merchandise that I took from a bandit bears your signature. I found this ring of the Overseas Traders Guild, Araxis, with the bandits. You're an overseas trader, and the swords which the bandits were carrying bore your initials. You can admit it now. I've blown your cover.
Why the hell would you sign everything, idiot?
First, all they wanted from me was food supplies. Business was really slow, so I got involved with them. Then they became more aggressive and threatened to kill me if I didn't sell them the swords they wanted. You can't blame me for this. I'm a victim of circumstances.
Ah, you're a victim of your own greed.
Oh, don't make me weep. You're pretty repulsive for someone who lives in the upper quarter.
Ah, all the
You'd
nobles
sell
are
your
repulsive.
soul for a fistful of gold pieces.
I've got my expenses to cover. If I don't have cash, they're going to feed me to the mob from the Harbor District.
Ah, eat the rich, that's what I say.
The militia is gonna deal with you.
You can't do this.
I should say I can. You'll be amazed.
Bye, Innos. I'm ruined.
Ruined twice. Now, very important, we save before we go with the last one. Because this is going to do something altogether unexpected. In fact, let's prep in some different ways. I don't really have a halfway decent weapon to equip. Nothing better than this at any rate. So, we'll deal with it. Whoa.
We see you, worm. You cannot escape us.
Holy shit. So he's actually been possessed. Diego, it would be real swell if you could help a brother out. Now. So, Fernando, he's got quite a few hit points. And unfortunately, it's tougher than we, with our wimpy mage arms, can really deal much damage to. But luckily, since he's a rather soft nobleman with a walking stick, it's not too much of a threat in terms of his own damage. But he can probably land some harder crits than we can. In fact, I'm pretty sure our crits don't even do any more than the minimum damage. So we need to be real careful in how many hits we let them get through to us. So the annoying thing about the Seeker's possession is that the people they possess, everyone just kind of ignores or just observes the fight. Normally, when people start a brawl with you, you can get the guards to get involved on your behalf. If you start the brawl, they'll get involved against you. But in this case, everyone just watches. I don't know if it's just part of the Seeker's possession going on here, but it is what it is. We're kind of on our own here. So like I said, Fernando, it's not the hardest hitter, but he can outdamage us just by virtue of the fact that we are not an experienced fighter whatsoever. And I don't believe that you can get away with using magic spells like Ice Block or anything to make this easier. The problem with the Ice Block spell, which we'll kind of see that later, since it freezes the enemy, it kind of like halts their AI, so it breaks the sort of dual script that ensures that you can have a fight that nobody gets involved in. So once you freeze them and they unfreeze, they treat it as though you've initiated a hostile action, and that can cause some problems later. But anyway, he had something on him, which is interesting. Omen Echo, the Possessed. Oh no, I'm stifled. Edefcon Durandorix. Inspiradibel. El Utoi. Kore Zaundron. Imperatorem Endro. Vino Fernando Malik Bromar. Whoa, those are some names. I don't know what all that crap on the left means, but we got some names here. Vino. Maybe that's what they're doing with him. So you might notice that those names include most of the NPCs we've met so far that have the strange all-caps name going on, which is another bug only introduced in the Night of the Raven expansion. Even though all this was part of the original game, for some reason it's introduced a bug where the people who are going to be possessed ultimately have capitalized names. It's very strange, but it, you know, once you figure that out, it kind of becomes clear who you're ultimately going to have to deal with.
You're possessed.
Go away, go already.
Oh, I'm going. And you're going straight to jail, my friend. Now, meant to give a heads up early on. I know this is going to be a long episode because we got a lot to do. I basically want to wrap up everything we need to do before we head to through the portal.
Nope.
Because this is kind of where things hit the end of the road as far as the main story is concerned. We have to ultimately deal with the portal. So it might be over an hour-long episode just to make sure we get there.
I've got some special snapper claws for you.
My customer will be happy to hear that. I don't have the runestone here, but I know where it can be found. On your way from town to the inn, you'll pass under a bridge. There, in a cave, a friend of mine has deposited a runestone in a chest. Here's the key.
I have no idea why they need to force you to make a trip just to get the runestone that this guy promised you. When you are a mercenary or militiaman, he has a ring that he just gives you straight off the bat. For some reason, the runestone they make you take a trip for. We've encountered that chest that he's talking about, so now we finally get to see what's inside.
I bring you news from Gerbrand. Here, he gave me this message for you.
Our situation is worse than I had feared, but report to me on the situation in the Valley of Mines.
The Paladins are holed up in the castle in the Valley of Mines, surrounded by orcs. There were many casualties in the prospecting operations, and there's barely any ore left. Well, I should say that without any help, the lads are lost. That's how it looks.
I shall find a way to rescue this expedition. You have done much for us. Innos will thank you.
I'm not all that interested in his gratitude. I want his eye.
Yes,
You
of course,
savage.
I stand by my word. Take this letter. It will open the monastery gates to you. Speak with Pyrokar, the highest fire magician, and show him this authorization. He will grant you access to the Eye of Innos. One more thing before you go. Take this rune as a token of my gratitude. It will take you safely back to the city whenever you want.
How'd you come by that? So funny how he mentions that the monastery gates will be open to us, as if they weren't already. I mean, we're a freaking mage.
He doesn't see that.
But that line's just there because this is the first chance you'll have to get into the monastery as either of the other two factions. So, we better hit the road quick, because the enemy's making his moves. We need to make sure the eye is safely out of their grasp. But first...
There you are again.
Here I am again.
I've got a few skins for you.
Wolf skin, that's good. A warg skin? Those beasts are tough. Good work. Come see me again when you have more.
Not a bad pile, but... Alright, let's take a nap. I guess while we... Oh god, I forgot I'm stifled. So, being stifled, basically from talking to too many seekers, causes an effect on your character. You'll see the pop-up that says you are stifled, or you feel stifled. That is a warning that you have suffered possession from the Seekers. All it does is mean that you can't rest. Essentially, you're racked with nightmares when you try to sleep. So even though time advances, you don't get any healing benefits or whatever. So, it is what it is. While we're in town, we'll finish up...
Hey!
What's his name? Fernando's business.
For all your stuff, I'll give you 150 gold pieces.
Deal.
All right, sold.
We've made some good deals.
Yes, yes.
Show.
We don't get any new fancy fish, but let's take all the lockpicks. We're burning through those faster than I would like. So I don't think we have Fernando's confession, although it's only word of mouth at this point. I don't think we need to bring any of the evidence to Martin, but let's make sure I have it anyway.
About the weapons dealer?
Show me what you have.
I found this
guess we do.
rapier with the bandits. The letter F is carved on the pommel. The bandits had this ring. It points to an overseas trader. This list of deliveries of weapons and other things to the bandits here is signed by a certain Fernando. Besides that, Fernando, the old trader from the upper quarter, has admitted having done business with the bandits.
I think that's enough. Fernando, then. Well, he'll get what's coming to him. And he always acts like butter would melt in his mouth. I'll see to it that he's put away until he rots. Sound work, I must say. Vatras will be glad of this good news.
Indeed. Let's head back his way.
I've got no time.
Oh, while we're here, I've been hanging on to this statue of Innos since we last found it. I believe we talked to the fish soup lady. I forget her name. She mentioned that she had one stolen from her. So, might as well do our good deed and give her a new one. And old Attila is still here, camping the soup pot.
Look, I've got a statue of Innos for you.
Oh, thank you. Very, very much. May Innos let his light shine on you.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I'm only a priest after all.
My task is done, for now. But who knows? Perhaps our paths will cross again.
Well, they already have. An old Gerbrand. Well, I actually walked right past him. Look at this fellow.
No idea.
Anything new?
What is that about?
Everybody knows by now.
Are you trying to mock me?
A little bit.
You and your buddy Diego have wreaked enough havoc already. Leave me alone!
Someone's got to do the work.
Oh, well. You belong down here with the gutter trash anyway. Kind of funny how we're really shaking up the class divide in the city. How's that corner looking? You spend your whole life hammering on it. I don't think Constantino here really gets anything new in later chapters. Except
I'm looking
this.
for new recipes for potions.
Do you have any previous experience with alchemy?
Yes, I do.
Yet you are still alive. Those aren't bad qualifications. I think I can tell you a few formulations. It depends, of course, on what you want to know.
So you've tried brewing potions and you didn't die. I guess you're as qualified as you can be.
What recipes can you teach me?
I know a few.
What we really want is the elixir of mana. Or elixir of spirit.
Show me.
Which he can't seem to teach us right now. I'm not sure if there's a prerequisite for that other than learning all the mana potions. But I'm not sure that he can even teach it to us. Halt your story, I got news.
Lobart's wife Hilda is sick.
What? Again? The good woman should take better care of herself. One hard winter and she won't be with us anymore. All right. I will give her a medicine to reduce the fever. Oh, and while you're at it, you might as well drop it off with her.
I've got this feeling of trepidation.
You don't look well either. You were subjected to the black look of the Seekers for too long.
You know who they are?
All I can heal is your body, but only the monastery can purify your soul. Speak to Pyrokar. He will help you.
Alright, well, give me some healing at least.
Can you heal me?
Adanos, bless this body. Free it of its wounds and strengthen it with new life.
Man, why don't people have you in your party? I mean, if you just stay with us, you can heal us throughout all our adventures. This game really should have had a party system. That's a lie. I don't want that.
About this weapons dealer. I know the dealer who's been selling weapons to the bandits. His name is Fernando.
Very good. Has Martin taken the necessary steps to stop him from delivering any more?
Yes. Martin will see to it that he won't be leaving the dungeon anytime soon.
Well done, son. May Adonis
I ain't your
light
son.
your path.
You're not my real dad. Alright, no real reward for that other than the XP. But it is what it is. What was I doing? I was heading back up to the upper quarter for some reason, but I don't think I actually have a reason. So let's not. Oh yeah, Kevlar. I got your bag.
I was at your hut in the Valley of Mines.
So it's still standing?
Yes, and I also know what you wanted there.
Did you find it?
If you mean your pouch with the lumps of ore, yes, I have it.
You're a fox. You know that.
What else could you have wanted in that old shack? There isn't anything else.
Do you have it with you? I'll give you 100 gold coins for it.
That's interesting. That those two lines from the hero actually don't. I don't think they show up if you don't get the quest to go there. Cavalorn just says, "Do you have it?" And the hero comes up with the bag of ore on his own. I don't know. It's weird.
Sure.
Terrific.
Why did you leave it there in the first place?
I had no idea that ore was so valuable here in Khorinis. For one measly piece of ore, you couldn't get so much as a place to sleep back in the penal colony, in the harbor city. They'll practically bash your skull in if they find out you have ore on you. I hope that I'll get it back soon.
Well, I just agreed to sell it to you.
Give me 100 gold coins, and I'll give you your ore back.
Deal. Here you go. You're a real friend. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And so shall it be.
So let's do a runner and give this medicine to Hilda. I don't remember. Black fever. That's not what we need. So this is just a standard, like, essence of healing potion as far as we're concerned. I don't believe you get a second copy of it if you were to consume it by accident, which means if you drink that potion, Hilda is doomed. But I also don't recall, I don't think there's any way that the quest, like, times out. So as far as I know, Hilda remains alive for the rest of the game. That I wish I could test. Yeah, maybe I'll test in one of the alternate playthroughs I'm doing. Just forget to give it to her and see if she survives in Chapter 5.
I've got your medicine.
Really? Our society needs more people like you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hope that these few coins are enough.
Alright. I think I had mentioned that I was going to make this an extra long episode. I'm rethinking that now, because we're not even halfway done. We're already at 45 minutes. So, guess there'll be 2 more episodes, and they'll be kind of, less eventful ones. Well, no, the next episode will be quite eventful. But for now, we're kind of clearing up some business. What else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, we need to, let's stop in with Abuyin, since we've gotten to Chapter 3. He'll have something, a new prophecy for us.
Can you make me a prophecy?
Yes. Time has progressed, and I shall give you a prophecy in return for a few coins.
How much?
For a paltry 250 coins.
My god, your rates are skyrocketing.
Time for you.
Tell me about the future.
All right, son of knowledge. I shall now enter a state of trance. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You shall force what is nobody's destiny but yours. Through fire and snow, through ice and flames, men in foreign armor, a swamp, lizards, they await you. That's all. There's nothing more I can see.
Interesting. So we'll be battling the elements, we'll be meeting strange people. He specified a swamp in particular. Well, we do know there's a dragon squatting in a swamp somewhere, so perhaps our destiny lies there. Good to know Sarah's still alive, because if we had failed to get rid of Canthar before making it here, he actually would have gotten out of jail somehow, essentially wormed his way out, and Sarah would disappear for the rest of the game, would never appear again. Some people have insisted that they found her somewhere, or that Canthar manages to get her imprisoned. I don't think that's the case. I've never seen her again anytime Canthar breaks out. Then again, I really haven't done it in a while, because I always make sure Canthar is dead. But I suppose it's possible. Maybe in the past, anytime I've allowed Canthar to escape and get back into business, there was just a bug or something of the sort that resulted in Sarah disappearing for good. Can't really say. Righty. Oh, well and good. We've accumulated a small stockpile of purses here. Let's make sure we open all these. Doing pretty well on money again, finally. While we're here, we're short on potions, so let's talk to old Xardas.
Show me your...
Might as well take them all. So we will need them. Okay, so I've gotten the red tear pepper finally. I think I kept forgetting to buy it from him. Yeah, that's going to be important in the expansion. So we got to head towards the monastery, and we're going to stay on the road because I want to pick up the runestone that Lutero stashed for us. But as you might expect, there are dangers on the road. If you are concerned about the Seekers, you can use the teleporter stone in that cave there to get behind the tavern. But as long as you keep your spell out, the Seekers are easy to spot and dodge. As long as you don't run into one that's hostile on sight. Some of the wandering ones can be. But I have not put together a mental... Well, I don't remember which ones are hostile, which ones are not, based on where they stand. One on the stairs is not... Well, I think if we continue this way, we will run into one that is. The ones that are hostile, probably the biggest jump scares in this game. We'll spot one eventually, but they are fucking loud. I think on the live streams I did, nobody really clipped it, but there were quite a few moments of me jumping out of my skin when one of them got the jump on me. I used to be scared shitless of them. The Night of the Raven version of the game buffs them immensely. They're really tough to deal with in Chapter 3, no matter who you are. No matter what guild you are. In the vanilla game, they're actually pretty easy to deal with. They don't have a lot of resistance, they don't have a lot of health. So as long as you level up appropriately, they can do pretty well.
Show me your wares.
Certainly, bro.
So, if you want to, you can grab this teleport to tavern here. 500 gold, it's quite expensive. It's not the most useful one to have, but I kind of keep it for completionist's sake. There are new dangers on the road to the monastery. Not too many, I think a couple wolves or something. There is a seeker that does like to wander up and down here. The Seekers patrol the wilderness and the roads based on a time of day schedule, I believe. I haven't worked out really what it is, but it pays to just keep an eye out for that. Bow. So these audio triggers for the music in this area are often screwed up, but lately they seem to be working fine. I'm not really sure what the deal is. No, your blessings are worthless. They can't heal the black look. And buy that pile. So for those interested, they're actually, if you go into the game's config file, that's the file where I made some of the changes, like increasing the inventory grid size and maxed out the draw distance as much as possible, stuff like that. There is an option to actually enable quick keys to consume potions. I don't recommend it because there's a couple kind of issues with it. There's a reason that they aren't enabled by default. One of the reasons is that it selects, I think it just automatically selects the strongest potion you got for healing or mana. So it can be a waste if you don't actually need it. The other thing is that there's no animation when you consume them that way, so it's a little bit immersion breaking. And the only reason I would have done it is to make it possible to drink potions kind of in combat, depending on the circumstances, but given that there's no animation for it, it just feels like an exploit. So I don't do that.
Hey, you.
Hey, you.
I see you belong to the Magician's Monastery.
Yes, why?
Can you use another worker there? I wouldn't know where else to turn.
Where do you come from?
I used to be captain of a big whaler, my boy. The sea is my home. My ship, the good old Magdalena, was sunk by pirates a few months ago, and now I'm stranded here. All I ever wanted was to go back to sea. But since I've come here, not one schooner is called at this accursed port. The only ship which is anchored in Khorinis is that blasted war galley of the king, and they don't take on anyone. So what else can I do? There's no work for me in town. I've tried everything.
Go work on the farms.
You'd better get off the road.
Don't worry. I've already noticed that the wilderness out here has become damn dangerous in the last couple of days.
Yeah, you're damn right it has. Oh well. Maybe we'll find a way to get you inside. Well, that ain't no Pedro standing there. Hey, it's Melty. You made it.
How did you get to the monastery so fast?
What kind of a question is that? I crept through the pass and made my way straight to the monastery. Admittedly, it was never easy avoiding all the monsters making themselves at home on this side of the valley, but ultimately I encountered fewer problems than I expected.
Do you know where the others are?
Gorn seems to have coped with his stay in Gerbrand's dungeon very well. In any case, he wanted to go to Lee and see what was happening on the farm. After the grub they serve in the dungeon, he's probably stuffing his face right now and putting the mercenaries' provisions to a real test. Diego mumbled something about a reckoning. No idea what he meant by that, but I suspect he's in the city. You know him, always there when there's something to be had.
Yeah, there's nothing to be had in the city.
Do you know anything about the hooded figures?
No, but I have a bad feeling about those guys. Be careful if you run into them.
Oh, we've made that mistake a few times by now. So, he can continue teaching you second circle spells and increasing your mana. He actually, I believe his mana teachings max out. So, he's not really any more use to us.
Teach me the third circle of magic.
Yes, the time has come. Enter now the third circle of magic. New spells await you. You will need them. For evil draws nigh, and it can be thwarted only with the power of Innos. I have now taught you all of the circles that I can pass on. Karas will instruct you in the higher circles.
Cool.
I want to increase my magic powers.
There's nothing else I can teach you. You become too good.
You lost your accent.
Your magic power has grown. I cannot help you to increase it more. If you want to learn more, ask Pyrokar.
Aha, so we have surpassed the master.
That's just what I said.
Well, not the master, but... So, we've gotten to the third circle of magic, which is very nice. There's really only one spell here that I'm terribly interested in.
Teach me.
That is Ice Block. So once you've learned the spell, I think it's only in Neither Raven. Gorax, the quartermaster, provisions master, once you've learned the spell, he actually gets the resources you need to make the rune in his inventory. So for Ice Block, we need Glacier, Quartz, and Aquamarine. We have that. That's Rock Crystal. Glacier Quartz, Aquamarine. All else we need is a blank rune stone and one copy of the spell scroll. I do not have one copy of the spell scroll.
Do you really think?
Nothing surprises me anymore.
That's just what I said.
I need a few things.
There's one. Excellent. Now we should be able to do the do.
Anything's possible.
Let's do a thing. Third circle. Ice block. Rune created. Excellent. We're now well endowed with ice power. So there's supposedly, I've never really seen it work, but there is supposedly a sort of hidden effect with the ice block spell where ice-based projectiles will do more damage to somebody who's frozen. I've never really been able to prove that. My tests were not exactly thorough, but in many cases it really didn't seem to make a difference. So it could be just a matter of magic resistance really overriding the effect. I'll have to run some more tests in another time. But for now, we gotta request the Eye of Innos from Pyrocar. But we'll wrap it up here today. Take care of that next time. Because, well, things are not gonna go so smoothly. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very kindly for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. I'm no longer going to ask that you subscribe to my stream archive channel linked in the description below, because I'm going to retire that account soon. Not get rid of it, but I have a different plan for how I'm going to deal with Twitch re-uploads and stuff like that, which I will announce in a separate video. But until then, you know, follow me on Twitch for the live streams. You'll see the VODs coming to the main channel soon. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter or join us in Discord, where we have all sorts of banter, and you can get announcements for new uploads and all that kind of stuff, just so you're up to date and appraised. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a wonderful week. Wash your hands, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
He never would have thought of that himself.
That's totally obvious.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
You already know what I think.
Nobody will learn anything from me.